Today on Public Eye News, Holocaust survivor speaks at NMU, and November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month.
Later in the show, I will have your weather, and Ross Ray will have your sports. Hi, I'm Caleb Rydell.
And I'm Ross Ray, and welcome to Public Eye News. On Monday night, Holocaust survivor Martin Lowenberg shared his message about the value of love and the power of hate at Northern Michigan University. The 91-year-old was just 10 when Kristallnacht, or the Night of Glass, happened almost 81 years ago on November 8th and 9th. He says anti-Semitism is still a problem in modern America, as well as across the world, and it's for that reason that he travels and speaks about his experiences and hopes that will never happen again. And police are looking for a missing 17-year-old Christian Hope Gromsky, who was last seen Friday, November 8th. Her last known location was on 1st Street in the city of Menominee. If you know anything about Gromsky's whereabouts or think you may have seen her, please call Menominee City Police Department at 906-863-5568 or dial 911. Remember, that number is 906-863-5568.
And deer season is open Friday throughout the Upper Peninsula, and a baiting and feeding ban will continue. Part of the chronic wasting disease, also known as CWD, surveillance area hunting season, they are keeping an eye on several UP counties. Chronic wasting disease is a neurological disease that affects elk, deer, moose, and other animals, and there is no cure for the disease. Hoping to limit the spread of the disease by preventing large groupings of the animals through baiting and feeding, the DNR has been working for several years to plan to stop the disease. The DNR will be going out and investigating recreational grounds and hunting areas on the search for baiting spots, and will be citing people who disregard the ban. And November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and it's important that we are informed on lung cancer as it is one of the most common and lethal forms of cancer. The #1 risk factor for developing lung cancer is smoking, as all the carcinogens and chemicals in cigarettes and tobacco invade your lungs and allows cancer cells to develop. Doctors suggest getting regular screenings of your lungs regardless of if you have symptoms of a lung cancer, as the early stages of lung cancer often don't show any signs. Roughly 230,000 new cases of lung cancer occur every year, and that results in about 146,000 deaths annually.
An Arizona community is mourning the death of Elijah Okaganes this Tuesday, after 3 subjects stabbed and killed him in front of his home on Friday night. He was taken to the hospital that night, but unfortunately did not make it. The police are looking for 2 men and 1 woman, all of whom are believed to be in their 20s or 30s, as well as a white pit bull which was used in the attack against the teen. The family has set up a GoFundMe page to help raise the money for his funeral. And this Thursday, Little Rock teachers will be going on strike. The strike seems to be from an Arkansas panel decision on Monday to strip their collective bargaining power and complaints about state control of the 23,000 student district. This decision comes after the State Board of Education voted to no longer recognize the union when the contract had expired October 31st. This is the second time teachers will have walked out of a job in Little Rock history. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
On American Experience.
The idea of a subway in Boston was an enormous risk.
It was one of the most important engineering achievements of our time.
The conditions are much more challenging than imagined.
And there is tremendous chaos.
People were horrified. There was a lot of opposition to it.
The Race Underground on American Experience.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. On Tuesday, Israel attacked 2 senior Palestinian militant group commanders, missing 1 in Syria, but killing the other, who was in the Gaza Strip. These attacks on 2 higher-ups is only going to increase the hostility rampant in the area. As they slept in their home in eastern Gaza, Baha Abu el-Atta and his wife were killed, and has started heavy fighting between Israel and the Islamic Jihad, firing rockets into Israel, some getting as far as Tel Aviv. Gaza militants are behind it, and it has caused Israel to send series of airstrikes on Islamic Jihad targets from Israel. There is no end in sight for the conflict that has been going on for 52 years between Israel and Palestine. And early winter weather is plunging much of the country into dangerous cold, with more than 220 million Americans facing sub-zero temperatures over the next 24 to 48 hours. David Begnad has the latest in the brutal Arctic blast slamming the country.
You got to expect a little snow in November, but this is a little early for me.
Just ask people in Dowagiac, Michigan. They were not expecting weather like this, near whiteout snow. As much as 5 inches were forecast to come down overnight.
If you pick it up like this, it's very light and fluffy.
Flurries fell as far south as Nashville, Tennessee, where some people were happy to get an early glimpse of winter.
It's here!
In the village of Alden, New York, population 10,000, we noticed brothers Gavin and Grant outside playing in the snow. What do y'all think of the snow?
Great.
Pretty good, huh? But the conditions also led to numerous crashes on Monday, from New York to Missouri to Illinois. Where in Chicago, an icy runway at O'Hare Airport sent this American Airlines plane skidding into the grass Monday morning. The weather also stopped some travelers from flying altogether. Cleveland resident Tammy Pepin Bus was trying to get to Florida.
Definitely disappointed. I was supposed to be in West Palm Beach by 10:30 tonight.
Her flight was one of nearly 6,000 nationwide that was delayed yesterday, not to mention the more than 1,800 cancellations. And with more record-setting weather expected today, air traffic may not be much better. Look, when it comes to the record-setting temperatures, which really are the big headlines for today, they expect to break 145 records by the end of the day. And should we say, winter doesn't even start until December 21st. David Begno, CBS News, in the snow here in Pittsford, New York.
Hong Kong protesters battled the police on multiple fronts today as a 5-month-old anti-government movement takes an increasingly violent turn. This is the second straight day of weekday protests, following an especially violent Monday in which the police shot one protester and a man was set on fire. Last night, gasoline bombs and fires were lit at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, where police massed for a possible clearing action with a water cannon truck. The protests began over a proposed law that would have allowed criminal suspects to be extradited to the mainland China. But activists saw the bill as another sign of an erosion in Hong Kong's autonomy and civic freedoms. And the Supreme Court is hearing arguments today in a case that could lead to the deportation of nearly 700,000 young immigrants known as Dreamers. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, commonly referred to as DACA, protests immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. The justices will consider if the way the Trump administration tried to end the program, begun under President Obama, is legal. Katherine Johnson is at the Supreme Court with the latest.
Citizenship for help! Young undocumented immigrants known as Dreamers rallied in front of the Supreme Court Tuesday as the panel heard arguments in a case that could lead to their deportation.
Our home is here!
The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, known as DACA, shields nearly 700,000 immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children from deportation. College student Min Koo Choi, who came from South Korea with his family as a teenager, is a DACA recipient.
This could be your neighbor, this could be your friends. It is impacting their lives and my life to the point where it can destroy and then erase everything.
President Trump ordered an end to DACA 2 years ago, saying President Obama overstepped his power when he created the program by executive action.
I'm a supporter of DACA, of the DREAM Act, of Congress passing legislation to provide lawful status and other benefits to people who are brought here illegally as children. But the president can't do that by himself.
Lower courts blocked President Trump's move to end DACA, leaving it up to the Supreme Court, which now has a 5-4 conservative majority. That includes President Trump's 2 appointees, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. President Trump has sent some mixed messages on DACA. Today, in the same tweet, he said many of the people in DACA are hardened criminals, and if the Supreme Court overturns DACA, a deal will be made with Democrats for them to stay. The court is expected to issue a decision in June. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
And after this break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
on Life from Above. Looking down from space, satellite cameras capture the dramatic ways our planet is changing, revealing the powerful forces that influence our world. From the seasonal cycles that come and go, to the way humans are impacting the Earth. Discover the incredible ways our planet changes, as you've never seen them before.
Wednesday night at 10 on WNMU TV.
And welcome back. I'm Caleb Radell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me on the NMU campus, we are snow-capped finally in this year. So we are going to be having quite a bit more snow coming. Obviously, we just started. We were supposed to have a winter storm that happened last night that kind of blew over us and went a little over towards Munising. But we're going to get into our current temperatures right now. Mostly cloudy out there with a temperature of 18 degrees. Winds out of the west-northwest at 18 miles per hour. Barometric pressure of 30.39 inches and falling. Taking a look tonight, we're going to see mostly clear out there with a low of 13. Winds out of the south-southwest at 25 miles per hour, so that wind is going to be picking up a little bit tonight. And then we got clouds out there tomorrow with a high of 23 and winds out of the south-southwest at 15 miles per hour. Taking a look across the UP, we're going to see a little bit of sun peeking out on the bottom piece of the UP. We're going to start over in Sault Ste. Marie with 15 degrees, 21, and partly cloudy in Manistique, Escanabo with 20, and down in Menominee at 18 degrees, and that sun peeking out at the western half of the UP. Iron Mountain with 17, Ironwood with partly cloudy out there and 13 degrees as our low, and then up in the Keweenaw, Houghton with 18. Back here in Marquette, that 18 as well with that sun peeking out. Now let's take a look at your week ahead. Now, on Thursday, we're looking at high of 34 with a low of 25 and partly cloudy out there. Winds, Friday with a high of 27 and low of 17 and mostly cloudy. And then Saturday, we are looking at a high of 36, a low of 30, and some clouds out there. Well, we had a snowstorm that kind of passed us over, but I hear the honors weren't passing over our Wildcats.
Oh, they most certainly were not, Caleb. 2 Wildcat forwards have earned Player of the Week honors announced by the WCHA on Monday afternoon. Sophomore Vincent Day May was named Forward of the Week, joined by Andre Gantus, who earned rookie honors. This is Day May's 3rd career weekly honor, including being named Forward of the Week twice in October, as well as recently being named WCHA Player of the Month for October. And this will be the first career WCHA honor for Gantus, as he led the Wildcats back in Friday's night's tilt against St. Cloud State, recording the latter 2 power play goals to skate to a 3-3 draw with the Huskies. The Wildcats welcome Alaska to town next weekend on November 15th and 16th for a fight for second place. And 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo threw 3 straight incomplete passes late in overtime, setting the stage for Seahawks Jason Myers to make a 42-yard kick that handed San Francisco a 27-24 loss for its first defeat of the season Monday night. San Francisco 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan easily could have played for a tie at the end of the overtime and protected the 49ers' safe lead for the division, but this decision was put to the ball in Garoppolo's hands backfired, tightening the NFC's West race significantly. The 49ers host the Arizona Cardinals next Sunday at 4 p.m. And in esports news, the League of Legends World Championships comes to a close on Sunday afternoon as China's FunPlus Phoenix sweeps Europe's G2 with a 3-0. This took place in front of a crowd of 15,000 spectators in Paris, with hundreds of thousands of more watching online. FPX member Tyan was awarded Finals MVP, and the team will win a currently undisclosed prize pool amount, expected to be over $2.2 million. After the game, FPX's member Doinby said, quote, "Before this, a lot of people said that a mid-laner that played my playstyle didn't deserve to win the championships, but I think I finally proved that I deserve it," end quote. And that's all the time we have for today's show. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for some more Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.